This storm will kill you.
Look! I'm telling you! You know what I mean,
But if
folks?
rich people aren't looking out for us, who is?
It makes no difference which one of us you vote for. Either way, your planet is doomed.
You're listening to the Our Take Podcast with Brian Sherman.
He had a full head, all the way till the end. It was white, and I was hoping to get that. I was hoping to get, the full head, and it was really hard to cut it off.
And Spencer Rogers.
To be a good pilot, you have to be able to make good decisions. And I know what my credit score is, so I know I don't make good decisions.
This is the Our Take Podcast.
From Scary Parrot Media Studios in Ogden, Utah, it's the Our Take Podcast, episode 137. I'm Brian.
I am Spencer.
Bear with us while we get our levels set. I was kind of quiet in my headphones, but hey, you can find us at the Our Take Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Truth Social. Yeah, that's right. Or the OurTakePodcast.com, where you can get your Our Take Pod merch.
Wait, did you sign up the Our Take Podcast
Yeah,
on
dude.
Truth Social?
Yeah. Our Take Pod. Just the same handle as everything else, Our Take Pod. We'll talk about that in a sec. But on the website, I'm this close to pulling my SBNF hats until more people order them.
Okay.
Everybody loves the idea when I tell them, and then nobody
Well,
orders
that's
it.
because they maybe don't really love the idea. Have you considered that?
Listen, it doesn't actually say shitballs
Hey,
and fuck. It
that's,
just says...
that's a great idea. Yeah, I love that idea, bro. Oh, get me one of those. And then you're like, do you want to order one right now? Thing is,
Listen,
I
everybody...
don't get paid till Friday.
Everybody in their life has something that makes them go, shitballs and fuck, man. And so...
I don't think I've ever...
Well,
I've said all of those words independently.
Now you have something else.
Like, my balls.
Everyone needs a new exclamation. All right? So now you have one.
Jesus on ice skate.
Let's see here. Can you turn that down a touch? Thank you.
Jeez.
It was loud in my headphones.
Yeah,
I bet you
okay.
there are people listening right now who are like, thank you
No,
for
because
turning it
to
down.
be honest, I actually sample over this. I just play it to psych us up. That's the only reason. We could just start.
We could just start.
We could just
Well,
start.
Be that as it may, maybe even after if with the sample, I might be listening, being like, I hope he turns it down right now. I don't know.
I will. On the sample, I'm gonna like. Whoo.
Yeah. It's March 25th, everybody. On this day in history, WikiWeb, the world's first wiki, is launched. Wow, this is later than I thought it would have been. What year do you think that happened?
2005.
1995.
Oh.
I would have thought wikis would have been 92, like the next year after the internet.
When did Wikipedia start?
I have no idea.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna Google that real quick.
Well, it's the first user-editable website, so that must have just been the Wikipedia.
Is that what defines a wiki? I guess so.
His name was Ward Cunningham, by the way. Guy who
2001.
invented that.
2001.
He really missed out on calling it a Cunningham. If you ask me. What else?
Cunningham, Cunningpedia, I don't know, man. Cunnipedia?
Yeah, there you go.
Might have been.
Coming 1949.
Was when Wikipedia started.
Yes. On this day in history, the Soviet Union begins deporting some 90,000 Estonians, Latvians, and Lithuanians to some of Russia's most inhospitable areas. That sounds like a very American thing to do, but, it was the Soviet Union. So.
Well, I mean.
Most of the deportees labeled enemies of the people by the Soviet authorities were women and children. Oh, man.
Wait, where did they send them? Like the frozen tundra or something?
It must have been. It's called Operation Prioby. Prioby. I don't know. Also known as March Deportation, as in March the month, right? It was designed to weaken the Baltic nationalist movement. Who knew?
Weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
1949. That's really, that's really early for the Soviet. Well, when was the revolution? I don't know my Russian history.
I don't know. The revolution.
Like that put Stalin in power?
That would have been before
World War II, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I was just thinking end World War II. It's only 4 years. There's this nationalist movement.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first thing you want to do after you win a war is, after you've lost a bunch of people, is get rid of more people.
That's true.
Real smart. Russians handled all of that real well. They always do.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Russians, wasn't it last time? Did we talk about, or maybe it was just in the car? Sometimes I can't remember. How my sister's been freaking out about us getting killed by nukes.
Yeah. I don't think it was on the show.
Okay. Yeah. She's mentioned that. She's like, "Oh, we live near a hill," and so
We live near an Air Force base.
and 4 years ago, in one of our episodes, we pulled up this nuke map.
Yeah.
Right. And
It was a simulator.
Yeah, it's a simulator. Tells you exactly, what the radius of destruction would be. And
how many people would
and
die.
I reassured my sister. I said, Amy, I pulled it up and I said, Amy, don't worry. You shouldn't concern yourself, because if they drop a bomb on Hill, we're all gonna die instantly.
Yeah, not just die. We're gonna die. Like if they drop the Tsar Bomba,
right.
Before we even see the light.
For some reason, that didn't comfort her. For me, it was like,
Yeah, no
I
kidding.
don't know, man. It's just done.
Our skin would be vaporized
You don't have
before
to-
the light would reach us.
You don't have to do the whole radiation poisoning
No,
thing. It's
just.
But anyway, so she had said that, and we had talked about it, and then a few nights later, I don't know. Lately, I don't know why, but lately I've been having like very vivid dreams, like so vivid that I woke up one morning. I had to message my friend and say, "Hey, we didn't kill somebody and cover it up, right?"
You shouldn't text that.
I was legitimately like,
You never.
"Did this happen?"
You never text that because what if?
Yeah, I'd been like Jason Bourne or
No,
something.
like just what if, God forbid, he had killed someone the night
The
before,
night before.
and you text him because of a dream,
Yeah.
and now
Sure.
you're culpable.
That's true.
Yeah, now you're involved. He's like,
So-
he's like, I swear this guy wasn't involved. Listen, he texts you the next
I
day.
know. It's okay. She, it was a she vehemently denied it.
Yeah, but the prosecution nor the public would believe it. It would be in the news like, friend Spencer Rogers texts her the following day, "Did we kill someone?" It's clear he was involved. I swear it was a dream.
Anyway, so I've been having weird dreams, and I one night I just hear this explosion, right?
Yeah.
This explosion. It's like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Ogden.
And first of all, I think, because I've heard the trains before, they hit really hard or something, and it makes a really loud noise.
Well, they explode often.
Yeah, right.
In the train yard.
And at first, I think it's that, and I kind of drift back to sleep. But then I hear it again, and I'm like, "What is happening?" And by this point, I'm like, I become terrified. I'm like, "We are getting bombed. It's happening.
So you're frozen?
This is going down."
You're frozen in your bed.
Right. And I hear another one. I'm like, "What is happening?"
Did you call your sister? Like, it's happening.
No, it's 2 in the morning. I'm so confused. I'm out of sorts. I'm like half asleep.
Yeah.
And then I see lightning, and I'm like, I'm more confused. I'm
War of the Worlds. Yeah.
And I'm confused because it's February, and it's 20 degrees outside,
Yeah.
and that's not thunderstorm weather. Anyway, so eventually I get up and I look outside, and I see a phenomenon called thunder snow.
Yes.
Which is actually a very rare event.
I remember this night.
And it doesn't happen very often. And it was a snow squall warning.
Squosnall.
Squall.
Yeah.
And it was basically a thunderstorm within a blizzard.
Which, yeah, I mean, normally to give you a meteorology lesson,
Yeah.
it's the mixing of hot and cold air that creates friction to create lightning.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so weird.
Yeah. It was very strange. And everyone around here heard it. You heard it.
I heard it.
You have video.
I got
of
video. I'll post the video to our talk.
It was wild.
Yeah.
And this phenomenon is so rare.
There was no delay, by the way. It was like
it was
lightning, thunder. Like
it was almost like Midwest, where I grew up, kind of thunder and lightning.
Like, do you ever, whenever there's lightning, do you start counting immediately?
No,
I always
don't.
start counting because I'm just curious how far away it is.
Right.
And I couldn't even start. It was
because
immediate.
The storms here aren't. I don't know.
No, it's not because I'm like scared. It's just
No,
more out of
yeah.
curiosity. Like, I want to see if the next one's closer. You know what I mean?
Right. No.
So-
This phenomenon. So Jim Cantor, Okay, he is a actually. Well, we're not. I'll send it to you.
He's
so
been
you can see
discredited.
it. He's the Weather Channel guy that goes out on all the hurricanes. He's like their main guy.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Jim Cantor.
What did I say?
I'm just kidding. Nothing. Oh, we've watched this before on this show.
Have we?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's the weatherman who gets super excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's such a rare phenomenon that he gets like.
Oh, yes! 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 We got it, baby! We got it! We got it! Woo! Woo! We got it! Yes!
That is not.
Listen to that!
I know what
Listen
you're doing.
to that! Oh, baby!
I know what you're doing. You're playing a clip of Ric Flair,
No.
and you're claiming.
Again! That's a twofer! That's a twofer, baby! Yes!
What's the guy's name? What are the guys' names that commentate?
That's a twofer!
Oh, it does sound like Jim
Twofer,
Ross.
baby.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! The Undertaker!
Yeah.
Oh,
and he's got-
God.
Again!
Oh, my
That's
God.
A three. You gotta be kidding
What's the other?
me.
Is that
You
the guy with the
gotta
really
be
high
kidding
voice?
me. Parrot.
Oh, it's Jerry the King and Jim Ross.
Yeah. He's like, oh my god. Yeah.
Oh my God!
But so this is such a rare phenomenon that the guy that has been in the worst weather possible
Like he is in.
is freaking blown away by
you know
this.
what? You know what makes me the most happy about that clip
Huh.
is knowing that someone out there found their passion and gets paid for it.
Right?
He's not just a meteorologist for fuck's sake, like just to get money. He loves it,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And that just doesn't 99% of us aren't happy with what we're doing. We're not passionate about it. This guy loves it.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a good Jim Ross clip here.
Yeah.
That was the
if you-
Undertaker pushing mankind off
if
of Hell in
you-
a Cell.
If you remove the crowd, the guy on the landing on the table sounds like thunder,
Yeah.
and he sounds like the weatherman. So,
Yeah. There's a whole like 5-minute video of just Jim
oh
Ross.
yeah, I'm sure, man.
What? Oh, I'm logged in as rejected takeoff, not Spencer. That's why I'm getting a commercial right now.
Oh man, yeah, commercials.
Oh man. So it was cool to hear. I was embarrassed how
How nervous
how
you got?
terrified I became.
I think I woke up in between thunderclaps. And so I think I saw the lightning before I heard the next one, so I wasn't as scared.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I knew
Right.
what it was. But yeah, if I had just heard the booms that close, it would have been.
It was
kinda
weird. And I think I must have been having like a weird.
Well, and it sounds
weird
different.
dream.
Sounds different when it's snowing as well because there's not as much echo off the mountains.
Right.
So it's just
Right.
like this. Yeah. Anyway, it was cool. I liked it.
So when Joseph Renegade Biden, Joseph R. Robin,
What's his,
Robinette,
What's his Secret Service handle? Do you know?
Dildo Schwaggins. No, I don't
That's
know.
way too long.
I don't know. Iron Eagle.
Iron Eagle.
One of the first questions, I don't remember, what was the hot redhead,
Wendy. Wendy.
was it Wendy? What was his first press secretary?
Jen Psaki.
Jen Psaki.
Yeah.
Psaki.
Psaki.
If you watch her first press conference, one of the first questions that got asked was I wish I could find the clip. Now that he's president, is Joseph Biden or Joe Biden going to change the colors of the new Air Force One? And Jen Psaki is just like, what? It's day one. That's
Right.
really.
Well,
And I was enraged that she didn't answer it. I'm like, what the hell? That's why I voted for Joe Biden, because I don't want this ghetto-ass Trump plane. Anyway.
by the way, his code name is Celtic, or Celtic if you pronounce it correctly. Yeah, I guess. It's the same one he had when he was Veep. The Renegade made me think of it because that was Obama's.
Oh.
And Trump's, no joke,
Dickhead.
was Mogul.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
But a few weeks ago, March 10th, Joe Biden selected the new livery because Boeing needed it. It needed to
Really?
be finalized this year for the new Air Force One. And by the graces of Jeebus, he went back to
Like the Kennedy
style
Baby
Air Force
blue.
One.
The baby blue.
It's going to be slightly updated. It's going to be a little more shiny, and there's not going to be any polished aluminum because there's not aluminum in the plane as
What?
much to polish it. There's a lot of
It's like 100%
that's why
fiberglass.
no, but there's just quite a bit. That's why American Airlines had to change their livery from the polished aluminum a few it's like 10 years ago
Yeah.
to the one they have now is because the 787 and the newer planes have a lot of composite in it, and you can't polish that. But
Yeah, it's almost like a seafoam green baby blue. Like
what seafoam? Well,
it look like a turquoise in some of these shots. It looks
what?
almost
I
turquoise.
think something's wrong with your computer.
This one?
What are you talking about?
That?
That's not a good photo. I don't know what that is.
Well, it's
but
not a
that's-
photo.
Or
I
that's
mean,
that's not a that's
It's official
I
Trump
sent
Air Force
I
One
sent
livery.
You the Air Force. The Air
Just
Force's
now?
official. Yeah.
Oh, there it
I
is,
texted
yeah.
to somebody else.
No.
They
Wait,
did.
I gotta see a previous because that looks very similar, doesn't it?
Oh no, but so this is still coming. This is the plane that's on the way. It's been so on the way that during Trump's term in office, he picked the livery. I know we talked about this.
Yeah.
And it was dark blue.
Dark blue.
It was ugly.
But this looks really similar to what it currently is.
yeah,
doesn't
that's
it?
the idea.
Oh, okay.
Trump wanted to change it to something that was like Trumpy.
It's true. It was like
And
a dark blue.
fortunately, it came down to the livery that Trump had chosen. At least this is what they said. Is after a thermal study, they concluded the dark blue design would require additional FAA qualification testing because of some of the hot environments they'd go into.
Really?
That's what they said.
Because it's so dark.
Because it was dark. Yeah.
That seems. Just say you don't.
No,
like
I don't
it.
care.
Just say
I
you don't like
care.
it.
I'm just
man.
glad that we're keeping
It does
this.
look. It looks almost the exact same.
Yeah, it is. It's just a different. It's going to be kind of a shinier. It's the newer paint that they put on the planes.
It's a new clear coat.
It's Jackie Kennedy's plane, man.
Yeah.
And look, I understand that it's not red, white, and blue, that it doesn't really represent, but it's Air Force One, man, and it's been this way since the 60s.
It doesn't. Not everything needs to have red, white, and blue.
And it's
you know?
iconic, and everyone knows it.
Everyone
knows that it's the United States' airplane.
Like the White House. The White House isn't red, white, and blue.
There's no confusion when this plane lands.
Right.
No one's like, "Oh, is that Sweden?" Is
Right.
that
Oh man, if I was any other country, I would totally paint my plane to look the exact same, just
Yeah.
to be a dick.
Yeah, right, dude.
Like Russia.
I bet we would get into a war with a country that did that. We'd just be like,
just
no.
out of principle.
I do want to. I'm sending you a picture here. We don't have. We're not showing. I don't know why I'm sending you any of this.
I know. Sorry, we're not recording.
But I just wanted to show you the size difference between the new and old Air Force One.
Smaller.
No, the new one's on the bottom.
Oh, that's the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite a bit bigger.
I thought they were the same plane.
No, well, this is a newer variant.
Oh, okay. So it's still a 747.
It's very long, much longer, and the upper section is quite extended as well.
Oh yeah. Like
the engines
upstairs,
are massive.
The upstairs, if you will.
And this is a very fast airplane. Very fast, just very state of the art. Air Force, the current Air Force One's actually pretty ghetto as far as the avionics and that sort of stuff. Obviously, there's stuff that they don't tell us about it, but
Right. They're still using
the new one's going to be
cables.
pretty sick, man. It's just taking forever to make it. They keep putting it back.
Is that a door on the top? On the top level?
Yeah,
There's a door up there.
I'm sure.
Look at that.
Probably an escape slide. That's what it is.
Cool. Cool.
A few weeks ago, or was it last week? I don't know. Was the Oscars?
Yeah. Two
And,
weeks? Doesn't matter. 2 weeks ago.
I don't know, man. Ever since I got divorced, my ex-wife, she was she was big into the Oscars and everything, and I'm more of a TV guy, as we've discussed before. I just like TV shows, and I think I only saw 2 of the nominated movies.
Do you watch the Emmys?
No, I don't.
So it's really
I don't.
it's not
Let me be.
it's
I
not
don't
even that
care
you
about awards.
that's
I,
yeah.
I think celebrities are all garbage. But anyway,
I think celebrities are celebrities. We do
yeah.
it to ourselves.
the only movies I saw was Top Gun and I don't know. There was some other one that I saw that was nominated. But Everywhere in My Butt All at Once, or what was what's it called? Everywhere, Everything, All at Once.
I think it's swapped.
All at Once, Everything, All Everywhere.
All once at everything, everywhere of. I don't know.
No, I don't think
Everything,
that's right.
everywhere, all at once.
Oh, there's right. Everything, everywhere,
Right.
all at once. Okay. Anyway, that won Best Picture, and Ki Hoi Kwan won a I think Best Supporting Actor.
Yes.
And I just think that was interesting because this guy hasn't acted since the 80s or early 90s.
The 90s. Well, at least in anything.
Goonies.
At least in anything major.
No, nothing. Like if you look at his IMDb, there's
Well, he was in.
there's Encino Man, I think.
Right. Encino. That's what I was going to say. The 90s.
And then Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy, I think.
He was in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, 1984.
Right. Yeah, there was. I think I was thinking Encino Man that got him. That had me thinking 90s.
Him and Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
One.
That's the weirdest part that they like both these guys, you know.
But
oh, he was in X-Men as a stunt.
Oh, there you go.
Stuntman.
What this did get me thinking about is how little I care about awards and my profession. And is there anything in your profession that you would want an award for, that because these people like work hard for these awards?
Well,
and there's nothing, I don't care. Zero F's given on awards.
These are people, I will say this, most actors, they're passionate about acting. So it's the same as the Weatherman we just watched.
Sure.
Right?
But
it's one of the reasons we look up to them, because they're like, oh my gosh.
I like my job. I was passionate about it. But even then, is there anything that you would want an award for?
If I knew that it would secure my well-being forever?
I guess. But it doesn't. There's still actors who win awards and fade away.
Well, but not that award. You know what I mean? They still they have money.
What about
they have that on to their credit now.
I can't think of
you know what I mean?
But I mean, what if we were nominated for a music award?
That'd be awesome.
Would you care?
Yeah.
Would you really like?
Let me ask you this. Let me just reverse this on you. Why don't you like winning awards?
Who doesn't like? If someone gave me an award, I guess that'd be cool. But there's no motivation in me for anything to win an award. Like I don't.
Well, I think it's
if someone was like, "Hey, if you do a good job at this, you'll win an award," I'd be like, "Can you just not give me the award and give me like extra money or something?"
That's That's what it is. That's what it is.
I don't know.
There is money. There's contracts involved, right? If you win an award, you're kind of you're going to be the next hot thing. Do you know how many fucking scripts are probably being sent to Brendan Fraser's agent right now?
2, 3.
Yeah, he's getting loaded, man. He's getting loaded. They're dropping them off. We want that guy so that in the theater, in the preview, in the trailer, we can say Oscar winner.
Academy Award winner.
Yes.
Brendan Fraser.
100%.
Also, he was in The Mummy, so don't forget about that. And he was also George of the Jungle, so don't, remember. He just happened to do a movie about a fat guy once and was okay.
I haven't seen The Whale. I want to.
Yeah, I haven't.
He's a good actor. I mean, that's the thing, though, is that Hollywood is really good at building themselves up.
I'll say.
It's all built in, right? And every industry does it. There's awards for the coolest new electronic.
Is there awards for the coolest salesman on the block?
There's all sorts of... All LinkedIn is salespeople.
I've won an award before.
Yeah.
I have. I won an award at SkyWest, but I don't tell anyone because I don't care.
That's the question. I think you've got a little bit more of a thing there. is why do you have such a problem with winning awards?
I don't, but
you
I
do.
won one,
You
and I just
clearly
don't
do.
care.
You clearly do. Otherwise, you would tell someone, like your mom or your dad, hey, I won an award at work today. It was pretty badass. You know?
It wasn't,
Unless it was like Spencer took the least amount of bathroom breaks.
It was some marketing award it wasn't from SkyWest. It was from a big independent company.
I think
I don't even remember the name of the company. I don't care.
I think that most people enjoy winning awards. I think you're in the minority. I mean, you're an Eagle Scout, Spencer. Didn't you like winning that award?
That's what ruined it for me. That's what ruined it for me.
You didn't like winning all those awards?
No.
Your Arrow of Light? It was a Boy or Cub Scout, right?
No. Wait.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Arrow of Light is the top of Cub Scouts, I believe.
Is it?
Yeah, because then Eagle's the top for. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Maybe it's a Mormon
Speaking
thing.
of good actors, the guy who plays Jack in the Box, great actor. He deserves an award. And did you know? Have you been made aware that we are being blessed with several Jack in the Box restaurants?
I didn't know, but I would have guessed because the past couple times I've Googled food near me, the first sponsored ad is a Jack in the Box.
Jack me off in the box?
All I can remember about Jack in the Box is that food poisoning incident that happened in the early 90s. It was on like Dateline and 60 Minutes. They killed like 10 people.
What?
Don't you remember this?
I ate Jack in the Box all the time in Texas. They had these.
Your face, you're so scared. What?
They had these tacos. I don't know if they still do, but they're like the epitome of an American taco. Like there's no Mexican left in these tacos.
Oh, look, I just Googled Jack in the Box food poisoning, and the first article is from foodsafetynews.com. Jack in the Box E. coli outbreak 25th anniversary. It was in 2017.
Well, there you go.
1992, 1993, Washington State Department of Health launched investigation into the incident of hemolytic uremic syndrome in Seattle area children. Traced the source of their illness back to E. coli that had contaminated burger patties sold at area Jack in the Box restaurants. In the following weeks, Idaho, California, and Nevada reported numerous cases of E. coli at Jack in the Box. How do these guys stay in business?
Because they don't make it till you order it.
Ultimately, 73 different Jack in the Box locations were linked to the E. coli outbreak. It sickened over 700 people and led to 171 hospitalizations and 4 deaths.
They had to rebrand after, obviously.
But they're still Jack in the Box. They didn't change their name to Burger King. Like
maybe they did, and the Jack in the Box came back.
Yeah.
Anyway,
people got money, man.
And these tacos that they had were like 3 for $1 or something. And one day I got like 15 of them, and it didn't end well. And I've never been like a super fan of Jack in the Box.
I mean, I'm scared, and this was in 1993.
You were an infant.
I was 9.
You were 9 years old.
Which is the same age of a girl who died.
It's a good thing they weren't here, or else you'd be dead.
Brianne Kiner. Oh, wait. Did she die? She slipped into a coma. Man, yes. No, she didn't die.
So we are getting one in the area, though.
She got $15 million.
The Ogden Clear. Wow. I would get E. coli for that.
Listen, this is ugly, man. Hang on. Let me just stay on Brianne Kiner here for a second. She suffered one of the worst illnesses resulting from a culinary choice, is the words they use here. She developed HUS, whatever that thing is I just talked about, caused her to become puffy and jaundiced. She began to bleed from every orifice in her body, just like Jesus, and required months of dialysis. No, it doesn't say that.
Did it say?
Yeah, no.
How sick would you be willing to get for $15 million?
You're right. You're right.
I mean, that would suck. That would be awful. That would be a terrible, life-altering experience. But also, $15 million would also be an life-altering experience.
We got to read about this. Guy needs to have a documentary. This guy that represented her, William Marler, over the last 20 years, has represented victims of nearly every large foodborne illness outbreak. Cargill, Chili's, Chi-Chi's, Chipotle, Conagra, Dole, Excel, Golden Corral, KFC, McDonald's, Odwalla, Peanut Corporation of America, Sheetz, Sizzler, Super Value, Taco Bell, and Wendy's. He's secured over $600 million for victims of E. coli, Salmonella, and Listeria.
I need to call him about the chicken I made the other night. Can you
That's
sue
crazy,
yourself
man.
for
He just like sends a letter these days,
like?
and they're like, "All right, here's 20 million.
Just settle.
Yeah, here's 20 million. It's fine."
We are getting one though in Ogden.
That's fantastic. It'll take a lot for me to go there.
It's just a burger place. It's the
There
same.
are lots of burger
Yeah,
places.
but it's just as it's fine. You'll be fine. don't
oh
don't-
man,
don't
we'll
be,
report back.
Don't be a bitch.
I'll start with a small order of fries. I'm sure it's delicious.
Their fries are good. I mean, we could have always gone in St. George, but there's been one there forever. Oh. So last time we talked about my mices.
Oh yeah, how is that going?
Um,
That sounded so rehearsed, and it's not.
No.
How is that going?
So last time we talked about Jerry, or Tom, whichever one the mouse is. It's Jerry.
Yeah, because Tom is a cat. Tomcat.
Right, Tomcat. And how this. So I kept trying, all these elaborate ways to catch him, and I had done that up until that episode. I hadn't caught him yet. He'd
Right.
been halfway in a trap and got out. And after we had our episode, I got frustrated and I kicked all my traps just to this one area. Most of them snapped shut. And then later that night, I hear the click of a trap shutting.
And you heard a.
and freaking
Did you hear a? Oh fuck!
yeah, freaking Jerry's in there, and I'm like, you idiot! I said you just walked. It wasn't in one of. It was just there. It wasn't baited. He just walked in.
It goes to show you overthink it.
What
you
an
know?
idiot!
Yeah, I'm still convinced that it's all the same
I
mouse.
took him pretty far.
Have you had any other mice incidents?
I caught a few more. I
So the same one another
have
4
not
times.
seen any in 3-ish weeks. However, I still suspect there may be one afoot.
Underfoot.
But I think I'm winning this war pretty well.
One battle at a time.
So if you look at ways to stop mice online, people will say, "Well, just grab some peppermint oil and put it around." Or some.
And that they just don't. They won't cross it.
Yeah, they say they don't like the smell of peppermint.
Mm.
And sage. Like you can plant sage around your house and they won't come. But then if you dig a little deeper, the real websites will be like, no, that's all stupid. They're
It worked for one guy. Who
Yeah.
had like one mouse.
like, if they find a warm place with food, they're coming. And my dad the other day was like, hey, you should plant sage around your house. And I was like, Dad, if you were in Salt Lake and you were cold and on the street, but you knew if you drove to Ogden, there would be food and a place to sleep. Like all the food you wanted, you know. But all you had to do was drive past the sulfur, you know, poopy water at the point of the mountain. Would you do it? Or would you be like, you know,
I mean,
I don't like the smell. I'm going to stay here and starve in Salt Lake
I
and
see your. I
worry
see
about
your,
the Tyrannosaurus outside.
I see your point. However, you're. I don't know if that analogy is sound.
I
You're
feel like
giving.
it
You're
is.
giving mice human intellect. That
They're smart. I think they're smart enough to go, if I stay out here, there's cats, and I'm going to get eaten. If I cross the sage and peppermint, there's going to be an abundance of food and warmth.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
I feel like
I
that's
don't
a
know if
decision
they're
a
really,
mouse could make.
I don't know if they're thinking about it though. I think they're just like,
Sure.
whatever. I'm
Sure.
just- Listen, they're not, building tools. They're not constructing a
I
gallows
don't know,
for
man.
you because
One
you
came
killed
after
so many
me,
of their
one
friends.
came after me with a mallet once.
Scary as shit, man.
Speaking of scary shit,
Yeah.
last night
Wow, I heard about this.
I spent from I think 6 or 7 last night till midnight watching a live broadcast from meteorologists and storm chasers as a series of huge tornadoes came and obliterated Mississippi. The damage in the first town it hit, Rolling Fork, is catastrophic. Like it's gone. The town is flattened. There's
Yeah, we were driving and Ashley read me an article about it, but she couldn't find how big
Well,
think it was.
You don't know that till after the National Weather Service has done their survey. It'll be EF3 or EF4, possibly higher.
So did it just go right through a neighborhood?
It went through the town. It's a mile-wide tornado.
Oh, it was a big one. Okay.
It was huge. And then it hit another town. So it was long track. So it was on the ground for 50 or 60 miles.
Jeez, that's a long time.
So it took out 2 towns pretty directly, and then it lifted for a little bit, and then it came a new storm formed, and so I was watching about 3 or 4 different feeds, and multiple storm chasers and a TV meteorologist said this is the craziest. I've never seen a radar signature this powerful before.
Huh.
And then I was watching. This has actually made its way around all of social media today. But I was watching this guy live because I like this guy, and I've never heard this happen before.
Okay.
Oh shit!
On
So
the air
Amory,
before.
we need to be in our tornado safe place. We got a new scan coming in here as we speak. Oh man, like north side of Amory, this is coming in. Oh man. Dear Jesus, please help them.
Oh, he's scared.
Amen. Okay.
He's terrified.
Highway 25,
Yeah.
Oh shit! That's scary, man.
So it's this monster tornado. It hit the town pretty direct. Well, not directly, but on the north side. And it just so happens that I also have the scanner app where you can listen to, and that particular city's fire department was available, and I was listening to them, and they're on there. First of all, people in rural Mississippi's accents.
yeah.
Raw advice, and I'm not even freaking exaggerating, man. I'm not exaggerating.
Couldn't understand.
It was like when you hear, like the Irish people.
It sounds like Boomhauer.
It was bad. But I was able to make out the entire north side of Emory's gone. It's gone.
Oh.
It was pretty crazy.
You need a translator.
Dude, it was bad.
That's crazy, man. Jesus did not help.
Well, it moved it a little bit north, so it didn't hit the city direct on.
I want to see.
I
want to see a before trajectory and a post prayer trajectory.
Just boop.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the kind of proof I need.
The northern part of that, small rural Mississippi town was especially liberal.
Yeah. Oh,
At least
man.
in terms of Mississippi.
All I'm asking for is that kind of proof on a number of cases where I can demonstrably see the effects of the prayer.
There were so many. So I was on Twitter looking at, because Twitter is like the fastest way to get pictures and stuff. And of course, there's people that post things that are just like blaming Joe Biden.
Tornhub.
For the tornado.
Tornhub.com.
I'm sure
tornado
it
pictures
exists.
Oh man, sorry, I thought of that while I was drinking.
One of them was like, "How dare Joe Biden sanction this line that causes this climate change?" I'm like, I'm like,
on Twitter?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm like, what?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
The Mississippi people have taken quite the turn there from there is no climate change.
If Joe Biden hadn't installed all those fans just north of us in the liberal states.
Oh man.
Oh,
it was weird.
That's what they think windmills are. Just giant fans that are creating weather patterns. Oh, we're screwed.
Did you know that in a month I'm going tornado chasing?
I remember you telling me.
Yeah, April 24th.
I don't really like it when you're gone tornado chasing. I get a little concerned.
It did. The storm hit a chaser last night.
That doesn't help me feel better.
But he was fine, but it did hit a chaser.
You have a few favorite bands that you followed their discography for a while now. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I'm going to be like 100% honest and say that now that I've spent time with Ethan and Randy, I don't listen to that much music.
No, they don't have favorite bands. They just listen to everything.
And I seemed when I hit 30, something happened to me, and I started listening to a lot of talk radio or,
for
or
sure.
whatever.
No. Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
I'm the same.
I don't listen to that much.
I'll tell you when
music.
it happened for me delivering pizzas. I was like, I'm sick of listening to music. I threw on NPR. I remember when Ethan was delivering pies, he turned on books.
Okay.
He'd go rent like books on CD.
I actually listened to a ton of music when I delivered pizza.
I did, but then I got
Maybe
sick of it.
that's why I stopped listening.
Probably. You get jaded. There was a time when I was so jaded with music, I was only listening to 80s.
Interesting.
Like 80s pop.
But so, like, some of my favorite bands, I don't even know their new stuff because I just...
Okay, so AFI,
Yeah.
my favorite band of all time.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And they had an album, Sing the Sorrow, that's 20 years old now.
Right.
And the album after that, December Underground, one of my favorite albums of all time, of anything, right? But Sing the Sorrow, they were just having a 20th anniversary show in L.A. or in the Bay, I can't remember. So I wanted to go, but it was super expensive. Danny and I talked about it, and I was like, "No, sorry, guys," you know. But a bunch of people recorded the whole show.
Of course.
So I was watching it on YouTube, which then fed my feed with all AFI shows, which is fine by me, right? Then I'm watching a show from like, I don't know, 2012 or something, 2017, I don't know. And the song starts, I'm like, the fuck is this? And it was a song I had never heard before that was a B-side, like, special vinyl release to December Underground. This is before vinyl was even, like, coming back. Right? And so I Googled it. I'm like, what the fuck? I think I even typed in, like, what the fuck is this? And I found another song. They released 2 secret tracks, like Walmart Special and Special Disc. Like this, we're talking that these are on eBay now for like $800. These discs that have these singles on them.
Wow.
And I just wanted to know if that had ever happened to you, because I had another experience. You know the band Saves the Day?
Uh-huh.
I like Saves the Day. They're a good band. One time I was with my friend Kurt and going through his CDs. This is pre MP3 players.
Right.
Going through the CDs in his car, and I happened upon a CD. I'm like, what is this? And it was Saves the Day. They're an album called Sound the Alarm. I'm like, what? What is this, man? He's like, you never listened to it? Was a whole album I had never heard of.
I guess, yeah, that's probably... There's like a 3 or 4 Fall Out Boy albums that I was like, oh.
So the AFI one was particularly bad because that's arguably one of my favorite albums.
Right.
And there were songs I had not heard from it. I was like, you guys got to stop. You got to stop. You got to stop with the Target. You know, if you buy it at Target, you get this song.
They don't do that anymore, though, because everything has to be streaming.
Yeah, or, you know, we'll release this 100 copies of this on our website, but won't tell anybody about it. Just everybody wants to hear your music.
Yeah, that is.
So you can't. By the way, you can't find these songs.
That's dumb.
They're not on iTunes, not on Spotify.
Why would they do that?
I don't know.
That's a really dumb thing to do.
So I pirated them.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, I'm like these. I'm gonna listen to them. Like, what am I gonna do, right? So
that's dumb.
Sorry. Anyway, yeah, that was my new music complaint.
I don't know. I don't even know that I have a favorite band anymore. Three Doors Down was a big one for me, but politically they've kind of
they've moved away.
I might go see them. They're having a 20 or 30 year anniversary for Away from the Sun, and I might go see them.
Like the band that you go to when you're either super jaded with music and you're like, oh, I can always listen to these guys, or when you're like just emotionally in a bad place and you're like, this is who I'm going to listen to.
I listened to Reliant K the other day when that happened, which was kind of weird. I hadn't listened to them in years. That was fun.
I got super. I still do from time to time. I mean, there was a phase where all I was listening to was like James Brown. You know, every night when I was cleaning Domino's, I'd put on James Brown because there's nothing better to mop to than arguably.
I guess I'll have to try that. I know. I hadn't
James
thought about
Brown,
that.
like The Doors. You know, older classic.
Over the last year or so, when I do listen to music, it's our music, and I'm like, oh wow, I can't believe we wrote that.
No, our music is our music is fucking good. By the way, we have a new song that'll probably drop hopefully by the time this episode comes out.
Hopefully, I don't know what's taking so freaking long.
Called New Catalyst.
Yeah,
be on Spotify, on iTunes. Our band is called Rejected Takeoff. By the way.
I think it's going to be our best song. It's definitely our best
It's going to skyrocket
Recorded song.
this podcast to unheard of levels.
I hope so.
Yeah.
We got to figure out a way to get it out there as people listen to it.
Well,
so we can get some shows.
The next podcast we record,
Mhm.
I guess we could do it on this one too.
I thought about it, but I want them to hear the full quality of it, and it will be degraded if
All
you
right.
listen to it on the podcast.
That's fine. So, yeah, it's called New Catalyst. Find it on, well, you can find it anywhere, but, Spotify and Apple Music, of course.
Those
So,
are the main,
yeah.
but it is everywhere. There's like there's a bunch of like foreign ones that it uploads to that I don't
Yeah.
even. I've never
We should
even
make
heard of.
make a lyric video. We could put the whole thing on TikTok
I should do that.
because you can upload like unlimited,
Can
like
you?
10 minutes now on TikTok.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Speaking of new music, you had some you were going to either share or tell me about.
Yes. Well, we'll play this band.
That sounded rehearsed, and to be fair,
We don't-
It kind of was.
I mean, kind of.
Not rehearsed.
I mentioned to Spencer before we started recording, hey, I want to plug this band, blah, blah, blah. And I said, let's not talk about it. But
Hey, Brian, do you have a hard time dieting? Try Blue Apron.
no, before we go
Hey,
on
Brian,
we'll
do you
play
have a
them.
hard time hiring? Try ZipRecruiter.
I'll talk about it before we go on the break.
Okay.
Because we'll play the song from them. They're called If and When. They're a band from Ogden, and they're cool. So we'll play them in the break though. But before that, do you have the swine news sound?
You got to warn me, man.
Well, I just did.
Because
because-
of course it's right here.
Of course it is. The Guardian released an article recently titled Incredibly Intelligent, Highly Elusive.
Oh, we've talked about this pig before.
U.S. faces
This
new
isn't-
threat.
We broke it first.
Yes, from Canadian super pig. For decades, wild pig have been antagonizing flora and fauna in the U.S., gobbling up crops, spreading disease, and even killing deer and elk.
And people.
Now, as fears over the potential of the pig impact in the U.S. grow, North America is also facing a new swine-related threat. A Canadian super pig, a giant, incredibly intelligent, highly elusive beast capable of surviving cold climates by tunneling under snow, is poised
These pigs
to
are
infiltrate
so
the north
smart.
of the
They're
country.
basically driving cars
Right. In the snow.
in the snow.
Right.
Like you look over and you're like, is that a guy? And you're like, whoa, that's
Right.
an ugly guy. No, that's a pig.
The story
A
continues.
boar. A
The
boar-pig
emergence
combo.
the emergence of the so-called super pig is a result of crossbreeding domestic pigs with wild mountain men of Canada.
Wait.
Sorry, I was just trying to get it in there really smooth. Crossbreeding domestic pigs with wild boars. Oh, there are 6 million wild or feral pigs, causing $1.5 billion in damage each year.
Come here, you.
Fucking deliverance, man. It's deliverance.
You've got a pretty face, pig.
Yeah, there's a whole hog hunting industry where people pay thousands of dollars to mow down boar and sow with machine guns.
Oh, jeez.
Machine guns? That's terrible. I mean, I know that we got to take them out, but
We don't.
You gotta-
Just let them go, man.
they're $1.5 billion. Where do you draw the line? They're causing $1.5 billion in damage
Well, make them pay for it.
by selling the meat
Oh, okay.
after it's riddled with 223. Anyway, that was my swine news. There's crazy
So don't let your pigs do it with other pigs.
chimera pigs
Or men.
out there. Yeah. Did you know that pigs aren't native to the United States?
Lots of things aren't native.
Most
like horses.
things. White people.
I hadn't thought about that, but yeah,
It's true.
You're right.
It's true.
Horses and white people are both invasive
Species known to kill and
Europeans.
commit genocide.
Spaniards.
Horses killed the native
In
donkeys.
fact, yeah, Spanish people, Mexicans, they're also not native to, sort of, to the country.
There are some.
The combos.
There are some
Native
combos.
American.
All right, new story. This is fascinating. Don't click on the link. I want you to guess.
Okay.
Unless you already did.
I haven't.
Scientists discover a lithium replacement that may revolutionize EV batteries. 99.7% efficient over 400 hours of use. Okay.
Which is good because lithium is from. What did Trump call them? Whole country.
Yes. Well, I mean, it has to be mined. It's terrible for the environment.
Right,
Terrible
it's not
for
great.
people because we don't regulate any. We don't even sanction. We find out they're using slaves to dig this shit. We're like,
Right.
well, fuck my iPhone.
Exactly.
I don't know. Yeah,
It is true.
it's bad. So these guys, they found that these batteries made with this new material were 99.7% efficient over 400 hours, and they could likely be produced cheaply at scale as the world transitions away from dirty energy sources. So I would just like you to take a couple guesses where you think this new material for batteries comes from that could replace lithium.
Now, I saw this story, but I do not remember.
Okay.
Is it an animal? Is it an insect?
It is an animal. It's not an insect. Which, I mean, that alone is like, wow, really? So we can raise these things to make
Right.
batteries? Like,
Right,
yeah,
right.
They literally shit batteries fully formed. I'm just kidding.
No, is it? It's poop. Is it poop?
A team of scientists found that crustaceans, like crabs and lobster, contain a chemical in their shells called, I don't know if this is right, but chitin, C-H-I-T-I-N.
No, it is poop.
which can be used to power batteries. Crustacean shells packed with this chemical are typically thrown out en masse by restaurants that have no other use for them. But research
Right.
believe this waste could serve as a powerful resource for batteries. This reminds me.
How stupid are we that
I
we're
know.
like we have this power source we've been throwing it away for years?
So it reminded me of a story my dad told me. He
Uh-huh.
worked for Chuckarama,
Right.
a buffet in Utah.
Which terrible name, by the way.
It
Always
is.
have thought so.
It is. He worked there as a kid,
Uh-huh.
and they go through unbelievable amounts of chicken.
Yeah.
This was at least in Utah, pre-chicken wing era.
Mm-hmm.
And they literally would slice the chicken up, cut the wings off, and throw them in a bag and would throw them away.
Jeez.
Until a guy in Utah started a restaurant and found out that Chuckarama was throwing away like 10,000 wings. So, I mean, obviously it's not. They must have had wings back in Buffalo already. Who knows?
Back in Buffalo.
But this reminded me of that. Like, so all of these shells that we're eating the meat from these crustaceans, we're just tossing the shell.
Right.
This is amazing.
How soon can we implement this?
Sustainable battery, cautiously optimistic. When you develop new materials for battery technology, there tends to be a significant gap between promising lab results and a demonstrable and scalable technology.
Are we at risk of creating radioactive crab?
Yes, that's their number one. Oh, it's already happened. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't really say.
Crab bear hybrid.
Yeah, it doesn't really say, but it just talked about. Oh, also, because the batteries are made from crab shells, they're biodegradable and can decompose in soil after just 5 months, leaving behind zinc, which can be recycled.
So,
Our landfills are full of batteries now that'll never deteriorate.
I know. That's interesting.
Your car is
Well,
going to run on
is
crab
why-
shells.
This is why when people... I read a huge article the other day about how stupid it was to hate on electric vehicles. But when people hate on electric vehicles, they're not seeing the broader, the technology. We're not still driving around Ford Model Ts.
No, they're the same people who don't see the progress in anything.
Right. They were probably when the cars came out, they were like horse and buggy.
Yeah. What are we going to do with all these horses and buggies?
We got to have the horse. I can't drive.
I saw a politician. Oh, man. I can't remember who it was now. It was something about if automated trucks become available, that they would pass a law. I got to find it now. But they would pass a law that would basically outlaw them so that truck drivers wouldn't lose their jobs. I'm like, that's not capitalist. That's not progressive. That's just weird. We have a new, better, a better thing. It's like the coal miners again.
I know.
You know?
Well, look, we're all losing our jobs. AI is probably going to take my job at some point, but We're just gonna have to figure it out, man. We're gonna have to figure it out.
Like
Things happen. This has happened through all of human history. It's going to continue to happen.
Yeah, and I
mean,
understand.
in the year 4000, we're not going to need spaceship engineers anymore.
I understand there's a lot of truck drivers, but that's not. Okay, maybe this is the 1 ounce of capitalism that I still have in my body. That's not capitalist. To say like we have a better solution, but it's going to put a lot of people out of job.
It's not. It's
Like it's the opposite.
It's
communist.
It's these Republicans are so weird, man. It's so weird.
Well,
the things they pick and choose.
I'm going to admit that I think that this person. Oh my gosh, man, it's going to bug me. I'll try and look for it during the break too. I think it was a progressive who was saying like I wouldn't do this, and of course conservatives are agreeing like, well, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's like 1 million truck drivers. It's a lot.
Well, there's also a truck driver shortage, as there's shortages with
Right.
everything else.
Yeah, I just like it. To me, it's the same as like if we had trucks before trains, we would have been like, no, we can't have fucking trains.
Right.
What are we gonna do with all the truck drivers? You're gonna have one guy driving a train for like 300 trucks? Can't do that. It's the same thing.
There'll be other jobs. We'll progress.
Right.
We just
Someone has to
don't know.
change the tires on all the trucks. Okay, until we get a new kind of tire.
I think that eventually our society could turn into one where our job is to be creative. Like all of us are just to engineer things or to create things instead of doing mindless work for, but obviously that's way far away. But
Okay,
I don't know.
I think I remembered who it was, and it's not a progressive. His face just popped in my head. It's Tucker Carlson.
Oh, okay. Well,
Which
everything
makes it
he
better.
says is
Maybe he was talking to Bernie or something, and that's why I got confused. But anyway, and the best part was while he's going off on this, he's like, and I wouldn't tell people that's why I was doing it. I would create some side argument about how they're not safe. It's like, dude, you're just you're admitting what you hate.
That doesn't matter with Tucker Carlson.
I know, but
he's a proven liar,
know.
and
But he's one who constantly complains about how they aren't telling the truth.
but
And he's like,
he never
so he
tells
never
the
would.
truth.
Oh man, I know. It's stupid to complain about him. Anyway,
I find myself lately getting frustrated with people, and I've got to figure out how not to because I'm never going to change their minds.
no,
They're always going
true.
to, and it's just like
yeah.
they're always going to believe what Tucker Carlson says, despite
Well, they're gonna
all
believe
the evidence.
right. They're gonna believe what they want to believe.
Right.
Right. Like for example,
Mm-hmm.
read an article the other day on KSL, local news, that was the Mormon church released not their finances.
No.
They would never do that. But they released like a pamphlet that talked about their charitable expenses for the year.
Uh-huh.
And the church's headline was that they donated $1 billion. And you read it, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have $100 billion just in this one account.
Right.
Now tithing would be $10 billion. Okay?
Right.
Just for the record, that'd be $10 billion. They said they donated a $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
You read the article, and they're including like volunteer hours. So like every church calling, or if you go and clean the church, they're including your cost, how much you would normally cost to clean the church.
Wow.
Right? They're including all that shit. There are some worthy causes, but then you start reading and it says like the church's biggest donation of the year, biggest, was $56 million it was like a World Hunger Program. Their biggest donation was $56 million, but the total was $1 billion. Do you know what the difference is between $56 million and $1 billion? It's $1 billion.
It's a lot.
It's $1 billion. It's $1 billion, people. And so my point is, I go to the comments because I can't help it.
You shouldn't have done that.
People live in this
Shouldn't
state.
have
I
done
want
that.
to see what people say in my state, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, wow, this is amazing. Look how much they gave away. There was a couple people in there who were like, how did they get to $1 billion when the biggest was the same question I asked, right?
Right.
But
Well, it's like
you can't change what people believe. If
it's
they
like-
want to think they're doing good, then they're going to think that.
It's like when every year Utah gets named the most charitable state
Yeah.
in the U.S.,
Oh.
but that includes all tithing.
So I think
Tithing is a
and fast
charitable
offerings.
donation.
Yeah.
and it's not.
So that was another thing they included in there
Uh-huh.
was fast offering donations. And I'm like, well, that's a misleading headline. You can't say the church donated $1 billion, especially if you're including fast offerings, which is probably only makes up like $1 million, right? That's the church members
Right.
donated that money. The church
Right.
didn't do that. They may have administrated it on a local scale. You know what I mean? But that was Joe and Sheila who donated their money.
Right.
The church has $100 billion that they won't. The only thing that's ever come out of that account ever was City Creek.
Right.
The only time they pulled money out was to pay for City Creek. And
And
that's
that-
on the record.
And
That's
that
like
huge plot of land they outbid Bill Gates for in Florida.
that wasn't even from that account.
Oh, okay. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyways, we were talking about can't change people's minds, which brings me to another question I have for you.
Okay.
This was a show of hands poll on
Ooh.
that app I use, right? If you don't use show of hands, you totally should. It's fun.
Right.
Would you, if it was a legitimate, worthy cause,
Mm-hmm.
die for your country? Yeah, right?
Well, here's the thing. When
I've renounced my citizenships.
no.
No, I know.
When I watch the movie Band of Brothers every
Sure.
so often, and by the end of the 10 episodes, I'm always kind of like, man, I wish I could have helped. I wish I could have done something to help. I feel like, for the most part, World War II was a worthy cause.
Oh, totally.
There was a tyrant, a legitimate tyrant, who was brutalizing and killing millions of people and invading other countries
And threatening ours.
and threatening ours. And Japan also bombed us. Even though the war never took place here, for the most part, there was a few spottings up in Alaska and whatnot.
Aside from Pearl Harbor.
And Hawaii, of course. But I mean, it's always hard to say I would die, but I would
You'd fight
put
and-
myself in a situation to die.
Right. So I answered yes because I thought like you. I was
Uh-huh.
like, well, whoever wrote this question, by putting legitimate worthy cause, leaves it in my hands.
Right.
You know, like I wouldn't die for like a Vietnam.
I wouldn't.
You know,
I would.
I would have
That's a
burned.
weird question because I would have enlisted in the military. I wish that I would have enlisted when I was 18 for the financial benefits. And since we went to Iraq and Afghanistan, I would have been putting myself in a
That's true.
situation
That's true.
to
And
die
you're-
for my
I
country.
think the large assumption that we should have Kurt on the
and
show.
a lot of people did enlist right after 9/11
Absolutely.
to die for their country.
I think the difference, well, not the difference. I think that people who enlist, and you tell me if I'm wrong, people who enlist or sign up, the giant assumption they make, I'm not saying it's bad to make this assumption, but the giant assumption they make is wherever our government sends us to fight is a legitimate, worthy cause. And I think a lot of soldiers come home having massive problems with that because they realize that maybe it wasn't.
No, that happens a lot.
And I
all
saw-
you got to do is watch the movie Black Hawk Down, and
Right.
that's half the story. Is
Right.
like, why are we here?
I got hurt. I watched my friend die.
Right.
I killed people, and this I mean, it's gotta hurt to. I feel really bad for soldiers who fought like in Iraq.
And Vietnam too.
Vietnam,
is-
Korea, although but like more contemporary. You know what I mean?
Right,
People our age
right.
who fought in Iraq. Fuck, man, Kurt. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's. I hope I'm not offending anybody or him, but I just wonder. Do you come back thinking, man, what was that?
What you do hear a lot of from these soldiers that go out is a lot of them do realize that, but when you get out there, you stop fighting for your country and you start fighting for
your brother,
everyone that's
Yeah.
next to you.
That's true.
And you'll hear that from lots of people that say, I was fighting for my unit because
Right.
we were getting it done. I mean,
That's true. mean, someone's shooting at us. Doesn't matter who's right or wrong in this situation now.
Right.
That guy's shooting at us. We're going to shoot back. I just can't help but think, for me anyway, I didn't do it. I couldn't do it. But if I were to, I can't imagine. I think I would come home and over the years be like, what a dumb fucking cause.
I think you'd probably get a fair amount of people that would agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it doesn't help them when the media comes down.
That's
and
true.
It's basically like this war was pointless.
Well, I mean, I think, and it
And-
depends on what you're looking at, because I think that the war in Afghanistan was justified.
To a point.
To a point. We were there for 20 years, and now look at it. It's run by the Taliban. They're killing people. They're, you know what I mean? It's oppressive.
It's not good over there.
So then all those soldiers who fought in Afghanistan now are like, well, what was the point? You know? Well,
that's the thing about war. A lot of the times, well, even in World War II, it's you're not fighting a country. We went to war with Germany, but we were at war with Hitler.
right.
Because I don't think you can say that all Germans hated Americans and all Americans hated all Germans. If you were to be dropped into that city and get to know people, you'd be like, oh, these people are the same as us.
Yeah, I mean, any more than I hate Iraqis or Afghani. Like, it's just not.
Right.
It's not a thing.
And you end up going to war with tyrants.
Yeah.
Even when
it is hard to draw the line.
Even now, if we were to go to war with Russia, it would be going to war with Putin.
Right.
It would be a pissing contest between Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin.
That's when it becomes difficult. Like, I just watched a doc on the Nuremberg trials.
Right.
And it becomes really, really hard, especially when you either capture or kill the tyrant. Well, where do we draw the line now at who's responsible? The Nuremberg trials, the first time in human history
Right.
we've ever done anything like that, where we've said, yeah, I mean, Hitler's dead, but you guys fucked up too. You know?
Well,
and I can't imagine being those guys deciding, like, where do we stop?
It's kind of, because we've talked about Hitler tons of times and how Hitler himself wasn't, he inspired and allowed all these other people. So even though Hitler was the catalyst, all these other people are responsible too, just as much, because they just like January 6th, those people, Trump was just the catalyst for all those people to.
It's true
to do that.
But like, if we captured Putin right now, like, there's an arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court for Putin. If we arrested him right now, would that be it for us, for the international community, or would we go get his lieutenants, people up? You know what I mean? How far down the Russian chain would we go?
I don't know. I mean,
and that's where it gets difficult with soldiers, because they don't have a choice.
It does, because there's Russian soldiers already that they know have done really terrible things, and there's ones that have straight up just left and surrendered to Ukraine because they're like, I can't do this. And so, do you punish that soldier who gave up halfway through? Maybe he committed a war crime.
It's hard,
and
man.
then it's like, oh, this is stupid. This is bullshit.
So, do you know Joseph Campbell, the anthropologist? He was a cultural anthropologist, religion and stuff like that. And I remember we've talked about him before, because I've said this quote before, which is that it's wrong to hold soldiers to the same level of accountability as people in peacetime.
Right.
And I don't remember the context in which he said it. It might be important, but I do agree. Yeah, that soldiers often do horrible shit that you're like, I don't know. But then you wonder, well, how far down the chain is their responsibility? Do we punish the private,
right,
who was just kind of maybe not even following orders, but just mimicking what his other soldiers were doing? You know what I mean? So it does get a little hairy there. But I can't even remember what we got on this for. Oh, just talk. Would you die for your country?
Oh, another thing is, if our country happened to be invaded. If someone set off a nuke in New York City and then invaded our country,
well, yeah,
I would have no problem.
Right. No, yeah, for sure. I would join the effort.
I mean,
I would-
especially if it was completely,
Unprovoked.
yeah.
I would definitely be a pussy about it, but I would go. It would be very hard for me.
Is there some space in that back line over there?
No, it wouldn't even be. It wouldn't even like if it was. It's more about going somewhere away from home for me. So if they were like invading Ogden, that wouldn't be hard for me to go to the. It wouldn't be that hard for me to go to the front with a sniper rifle.
Right.
But if you're like, yeah, New York's getting invaded, we gotta
all the way to the East Coast.
we gotta fly you to New York. I'm like, nah, I'll just if it comes west.
Can I do something here?
That honestly, we're United States, but that seems like a New York problem.
Well, what if they invaded like Florida? Would you just be like,
I would
let them have it.
I would go there.
Let DeSantis deal with that.
I would go there and help the liberals escape. Oh, speaking of fucking man, they're banning books everywhere. Okay, did you know in Utah, Alpine School District banned 52 books?
I think I heard that.
Now Weber, where we live, hasn't yet, and I'm gonna. I have kids in the school district. I got to start attending these meetings, I guess, because I'm gonna lose my shit. But I told Ashley today we're gonna start a mini public library of all the banned books, and parents and kids can come check them out. Because I do agree that there are some inappropriate books that maybe the parents should know. The parents should give their say, right?
Right.
I had a history teacher sophomore year who wanted us to write reports on books and movies.
Mm-hmm.
List of movies, and he's like, these ones though, it was like Full Metal Jacket, shit like that. He's like, you gotta ask your parents. Why can't the fucking library work like? I'm pretty sure the libraries did work like that in high school. Like there was books that the librarian's like, not without a parental signature,
Right.
I
I gotta say that I'm getting really burnt out on this.
School shit.
DeSantis is.
Did you see they're expanding the "Don't Say Gay"?
Yeah, this war, quote unquote war on woke. He said as
dude,
much.
He's such a fucking idiot.
And when you ask them what woke is, they're like, it's
It brings me full circle to a conversation we had 1 or 2 episodes ago about Trump versus DeSantis.
Right.
Now, off the cuff, I'm like, fucking DeSantis. But he has
I
done
gotta
shit.
say though that right now the things DeSantis is doing is not going to work in his favor. He's picking the wrong point. He should be going after financial Republican financial, not this woke crap.
I genuinely hope you're right. Like more than anything in the world, I hope you're right because DeSantis is doing things. Trump didn't do anything. Like there were a couple things
because he wasn't governor.
There was a couple things he did, like tariffs that were like, well, fuck, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
He certainly did stuff, but for the most part, nothing Trump did. What Trump said was oppressive, but nothing that he actually passed. No bills that he actually passed were actually oppressive.
Right.
You know what I mean? I could be wrong. Feel free to correct me. But
it was his, the ban,
which got challenged immediately.
Yeah.
Right. But DeSantis is actually passing scary shit. Right.
Right.
And this whole "Don't Say Gay," his whole thing about this bill was like, it's just through 3rd grade. What is your problem? And 3 months later, he's like, we got to expand that through 12th grade.
That interview that we watched with Jon Stewart. And Jon Stewart makes such an amazing point, and he just I don't remember which senator it was, but he put him in such a place that he couldn't recover from.
If you haven't watched any of Jon's new show.
And
yeah.
No one has ever died from RuPaul.
No.
No one has ever no one's ever been shot by a transgender or trans person
or molested
or a gay person.
Right. No.
We grew up with the same sort of stuff. And did you ever make you gay? Did it ever make you trans?
No. And we had all those books in our libraries.
And the idea that this whole we need to save our kids is such horseshit that it's like, Ron, the number one cause of children deaths in your state are guns.
Right.
What are you're saving the kids from what?
Right. No, it's so
What are you
so
saving
incredibly
them from,
transparent. That's
Ron, I don't understand.
that's
And-
what's scary.
And if I was ever in a press conference,
Yeah.
I just what are you saving them from, Ron?
Yeah.
What I don't understand.
But that's why Ron
Just looking a different way from learning things, having empathy. I don't understand what are you saving them from, bud?
Yeah.
Because there was a school shooting this week in Texas, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. It keeps coming on. They're like, they caught the suspect. I'm like, I don't care. I can't deal with this stuff anymore. You guys need to change your freaking laws. Figure it out. Oh, only one kid died? Oh, well, that's not news.
Yeah.
You know, it's
terrible.
It's like, but we gotta. I remember that time the guy went in, broke into the school with his gun and started shooting RuPaul at people. Bam, 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 bam.
Right. And every person
there's trans people everywhere.
every person
My God,
he
the
hit
carnage.
every person he hit was immediately
Turned
a
trans.
transgender
Or gay.
sex trafficker. Right. Because let's remember here, there's nothing wrong with being transgender. That's the whole point.
Right.
That's the whole point is that they fundamentally believe there's something wrong with that. Now, your religion might think that, but that has no place in legislation. If I see one more fucking clip of them using the Bible as justification for one of their oppressive bills, I don't know how people don't stand up and be like, why are you bringing the fucking Bible in here? Even someone who believes in it.
You're bringing a book here written by stupid people.
Right.
You know,
Even if
thousands of years ago who couldn't wipe.
It's really
why what and there's nothing in the Bible about this.
Even if you believe the Bible, even if you believe in the Bible, I think it's pretty easy to understand why legislation should not be modeled after it. I think it's pretty easy to understand that maybe some of the constituents in this area don't believe in the Bible. So it's kind of weird to use that to write laws. Don't you think?
Well, this was born a Christian nation by an atheist,
By atheists.
and deists and people that weren't even really Christian except for the people in the South, and the only reason a lot of it's in there is because we needed the South.
Like, I saw so many clips, not necessarily Utah's legislature pissed me off. Sure, they do every year. But I think it was mostly Oklahoma that I saw clips of dudes reading from the Bible while they're introducing their bill or arguing their bill. I'm like, how is this a valid argument?
Anything that starts with the Bible is a non-argument.
That's what, but
you invalidate your argument right there.
No one stood up and said anything. Even
it's like if you got up with Harry Potter.
No, for real.
And I'm not trying.
No,
look, I know people believe whatever they want to believe. I'm not saying. Well, I don't know. The Bible's whatever it is, but I'm
even if you believe in it,
right? I'm not saying the Bible's a book of fiction, but it's the same thing as holding up a copy of Harry Potter and saying it says here that Voldemort. It's the same. It's the same thing.
Right.
It should be the same thing.
Right. What if someone held up because
what if I did that? What if I was a senator and I got up and said it says here in Harry Potter book 4 that Dumbledore. How that's a non-argument, right?
Right, yeah, for sure. That's what I mean.
Or it says here in L. Ron Hubbard's that the Thetans are going to come and Zool or whatever.
That's what I mean. And even if you believe in it, you should show respect for the people who don't. Right?
Right.
That's like passing a law that it's required to take the sacrament because it says so in the Bible. Like, is that the next step?
I guess.
You know what I mean?
But I don't understand because this doesn't seem to have been a problem up until now.
I know, man. I don't get how the chair of the committee or someone in even someone in the same party shouldn't be like, we can argue the merits of your bill, but Scripture has no place in this room. No place in a legislative body because lots of our people that we represent don't fucking believe it. Or they believe in a different book. They believe in L. Ron Hubbard. You know, like they don't believe in the New Testament. They believe in the Quran. or the Torah.
Or they just don't care.
Or they don't care.
I don't think, or they believe and just don't think that things should be, which is probably more the case, that people that do believe but don't think that we should be legislated by the Bible.
Right.
That's probably
most
of the case.
Yeah. Well, because it doesn't take much it's not hard to find another scripture that is pro-slavery or pro-selling your daughter or pro-incest or pro-gang rape. It's not hard to find those scriptures to say, well, what about these? You're using that scripture to justify your laws against gay marriage. Does that mean that my daughters can gang rape their brother? You know, like that's in Janet. Actually, it was their dad.
In Pornhub chapter 3, verse 2.
That was actually the story of Lot. Lot's daughters.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's all over. It's all over. So it's not the whole Bible. You can't I did see people stand up and say, well, if you're going to use that scripture, shouldn't we talk about this one over here?
Right.
It never works because back to your point, you can't convince someone.
No.
So I think it should just be a rule. That's cool. That's cool you believe in the Bible. You can't use that here as justification. We need to talk about the real effects on people. Mm-hmm. You know? Anyway.
And anything we're saying right now shouldn't offend any Christians. It shouldn't.
No.
It's not offensive. It's just simply saying that there is and should be a separation between church and state. Period.
Yeah.
And if you knew anything about history, you would know that this isn't a Christian country. It wasn't started by Christians.
Even if it was, we welcomed non-Christians.
And even if it was, they set it up. The reason they left was to be free. The reason the pilgrims came was to be free from the tyrants, so they could practice whatever religion they wanted.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Let's talk about one of these crazy people for a minute.
Yeah.
Miss Lauren Boebert, your favorite.
And she's dumb. Visibly stupid.
I don't know how to explain all of the funny, ironic things that happened in what I'm about to tell you next, other than just to tell them. Okay?
Right.
She's giving a speech where she just received an award. This is her acceptance speech for a Mother's Influence
I've heard
Award.
about this, yeah.
Mother's Influence Award. During said speech, she talks about how she's going to defund Planned Parenthood in Colorado. She talks about how the teen pregnancy rate is the same in rural versus urban areas. However, in rural areas, the teen birth rate is higher because they are more Christian. She couldn't think that maybe urban areas have access to abortion. Whatever, I digress. Mm-hmm. During this speech, where she's talking about these things and accepting a Mother's Influence Award, she announces that her 17-year-old son got his 15-year-old girlfriend pregnant. So you see why I couldn't explain all the things? I don't even know what to say about it other than... Oh, and then when he told her that and she exclaimed, he said, but didn't you make grandma when you were 17 or when you were 36? Because she's 36.
Right.
So she got pregnant.
She's younger than us?
Yeah.
That's
So
upsetting.
she got pregnant when she was, 19 or 17, and her mom was 36, which means her mom was, this is the cycle. This is called the cycle of poverty, people, by the way. So her mom was 36 when she got pregnant at 17. Lauren dropped out of high school, didn't get her GED until like 3 years ago, I think. And now her son got his girlfriend pregnant when she's 50. And I hope and pray to any God that this little girl gets an abortion.
That was a boner of the day this week on X96. I remember hearing that.
I will pay. I will travel to Colorado and pay for this girl's abortion.
Her mom would kill her before. She would literally murder her before.
Well, we don't know who the girl's parents are.
Oh, that's right.
It's Lauren Boebert's son.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Who you know is just going to be like he's going to be a deadbeat. He's still in high school.
That girl.
Oh.
Well, if he's anywhere as stupid as she is, visibly stupid.
Oh man, Mother's Influence Award.
That's
I'm sorry. I mean, I know a lot of good parents have kids who get pregnant in their teens. That's fine. It's just ironic. Okay? It's just ironic that you'd be accepting that award
and announcing that at the same time. And I think what's most upsetting is not being able to make that connection in your head.
Yeah. Like
And
maybe this
just
isn't the right
keeping
forum.
it down because their press person or their it's just like, what did she just say?
Right.
What did she just say?
Was she at
Hey,
least
whoa?
was she at least happy about it?
Because that all the press people for all of these people are all pretty liberal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's
When
just
they
a
found
job.
out, they're like, "You got your fucking teenage girlfriend pregnant." Like, we're anti-sex ed. This is horrible for our case.
Oh man.
All right, pull up your Apple Music and search for If and When. This is a local band from Utah. They're kind of like a jazzy genre.
Jazzy.
Yeah. But they're making waves in the local scene, probably because their genre, and they're actually pretty good. So during our break that we're about to take, we'll play you guys an If and When song, and you can find these guys on Spotify and Apple Music and such. But yeah, good kids, writing some nice mellow.
They're gonna play a show with us.
Yeah, I think we should.
Their latest release is called Heist Song.
Heist. But so we'll take a break, and we'll do what when we come back, Spencer?
I guess random headlines. I haven't found any,
Yeah.
but that's what we'll do.
Sounds good.
All that and more when we come back.
is the Our Take Podcast. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you these random headlines.
Hey, everybody, we're back. Hope you like that song from If and When. Time for some random headlines. Did you find any? Because I have one right here.
I did, but what do you got?
Pennsylvania chocolate factory explodes. 5 dead, 6 missing.
That's not random headline.
It is. It's a headline and it's random. Sure it is.
It's not like It's not like that's totally random, bro. That's sad. That's horrible.
Sad doesn't.
That's more like lighter news.
Random doesn't negate sad. I thought it was weird that a chocolate factory would explode. I mean, I guess there's danger in everything. I guess
chocolatey goodness, and then it explodes. Did you see?
Is it Hershey's in Pennsylvania?
It's in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Right.
That's the name
of
the city.
I don't think this was it.
Did you see that?
Hershey did it this though.
Did you see that picture I sent the group the other day that I titled "Slow News Day"?
Yeah.
And it was like a breaking news report from Fox 13 that was like, a falcon has perched on the traffic cam and isn't leaving. I'm like, wow, guys, slow news day today.
I believe it was in the morning. Was it in the morning?
Because
it was a traffic man. Morning news has always been like that. Like, I can't imagine doing morning news.
Right.
The same stories from 4:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. It's like the same 15 minutes of stories over and over again. Yeah.
All right. My first random headline here is from Newport News, Virginia. 2 inmates in a Virginia jail used primitively made tools to create a hole in the wall and escape, only to be found hours later at an IHOP restaurant nearby.
Yes.
Authorities discovered the 2 men, ages 37-43, missing from their cell in the Newport Jail Newport News
Jail
Annex during a routine head count Monday evening, according to the statement from the Newport News Sheriff's Office.
I want to know more about their tools.
A preliminary investigation found the men exploited a weakness in the jail's construction design and used tools made from a toothbrush and a metal object to access rebars between the walls, and then use the rebar to further their escape.
Wow. This is like that show, Alcatraz, Escaping Alcatraz.
Yeah, there's a picture of the hole. It's just a perfectly sized...
I guess that's the story of most escapes.
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption,
Right. This is more Shawshank than anything, except there's no poster. Have
you ever seen that movie, Alcatraz?
No.
With Clint Eastwood? It's intense, man.
No.
But the same thing, they dig a hole in the thing and
I always like the documentaries about people who escape because I like to see how far they make it. And
why did these guys stop? Did they just want to get some IHOP?
Obviously they were really stupid. Because how did they even expect to pay for the IHOP and not have the police called on them?
Some jails have cash. Like you have cash.
No, you don't have cash. You have a commissary, but it's not physical money.
It might be like prisons, jails are a different beast.
No, I guess
jails are their own thing, and it could be like a debit card.
I guess so.
I don't know. Who knows, man?
Authorities had asked for the public's help to find the men. They were taken into custody at an IHOP when patrons called police.
They're wearing like DOC jumpsuits. Do you ever watch that show, the world's toughest presidents?
Presidents?
World's toughest prisons.
Is that
with
the president of the prison? The president?
Yeah.
I think I've seen an episode before.
With Raphael Lowe. He was in prison in England, wrongfully convicted for like 12 years. And so now he just tours around. Some of them are nuts. He was just in the Philippines, and he had screen-printed T-shirts for the inmates on the back that says something like "individual with no liberty" or something. Like it's a weird, it's like a weird acronym. Let me see if I can find it. Anyway.
Wow. Yeah. So these guys were in jail for credit card fraud, forgery, grand larceny, and probation violation. What a dumb... they're not they're not going to prison for life or anything, and now they've just added.
Yeah, just added 10 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
I
man.
really wanted some pancakes.
Now, I picked this next random headline because the headline itself is very misleading.
Okay.
It's from the Associated Press, too, so do better, guys. Missing porcupine brain returns to zoo. Pinky still missing.
Come on.
I first read it. I was very confused.
Is it supposed to be an Animaniacs pun?
It is. That is Pinky and the Brain are the name of the porcupines. But when I first read it, it just says missing porcupine brain returns to zoo, and the only reason that you're to know
Is
that
it
that's
capitalized?
the name is it's capitalized.
I was like, so many things went through my mind. Like, raccoons do have a pinky.
It's not a raccoon. It's a porcupine.
A porcupine. I don't know if porcupines
Did
have.
someone cut the brain out? And that was my first thought. Like, oh my gosh, this is horrific. Someone took the brain out and returned it in like a box, like a horse head or
yeah,
something.
well, I was thinking. Well, yeah, so many things went through my head, but then I was thinking, I don't know if porcupines have pinkies.
I don't know.
You know,
Raccoons do.
Right? Because they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have opposable thumbs.
I don't think they do. I don't think porcupines.
They just have
that.
like paws, like a cat.
Right. So they got brain, but Pinky's still on the loose. This is in Berlin. So apparently Animaniacs has made its way to Berlin.
I was also trying to think of a zoo that houses porcupines.
Lots of zoos have porcupines.
Huh.
Pretty sure ours does.
I mean, the porcupines just on the side of the road here.
That's true. But there's like an African one or something there because they're like really big. I like porcupines.
They're
Porcupines
cool. They're cool.
So yeah, one of them is still on the loose. So if you're in the Berlin area, Berlin, Germany, and you see a giant porcupine,
If you see a porcupine on the autobahn,
don't get stabbed, man. But do return it to the zoo.
just approach from the front.
Firefighters in Kentucky were dispatched to help a dog stranded on a cliff ledge and ended up rescuing an emergency management official whose own rescue attempt went awry.
Oh, dude, he's gonna have to resign. He'll never live it down. Hey, remember that time, Ralph, that we had to save you? You dumb shit.
W.R. Castle Fire Rescue, based in Whittenville, said in a Facebook post that its rope rescue team was assembled and dispatched to an area near US 23 when Johnson County Emergency Management reported a dog stranded on a cliff. The crew arrived on the scene and ended up helping Paintsville firefighters rescue Lawrence County's emergency management director.
He pulled rank and didn't know what the
Yeah.
fuck he was doing.
Which always is what happens.
It's always what happens.
It was always, man.
Yeah.
You know, I can't tell you the amount of times that my boss has done something and you're like,
You don't know.
You don't know what you're doing.
You don't know what you're
That actually
doing.
recently happened to me. I'm not going to tell you what happened. I don't want to.
It happens weekly.
Yeah.
I think it happens to everybody.
But it was in a meeting, and I was just in my head. I'm like, oh, you just showed your cards. Oh no,
You've never used PowerPoint.
It was actually worse than that.
Save as?
Yeah.
What does save as mean?
Basically. The dog did not appear to be injured and fled the scene.
They didn't even get the dog.
Get the dog. The time and resources committed to rescuing the would-be rescuer delayed help for the dog. This is why it's so important to wait on rescuers who are properly trained, sir.
So he was just driving along listening to the radio, was like, I got it.
I got it. I got this.
Now he's going to
Hey, guys!
Now he's going to prosecute the people who called 911.
Yeah. And damages. I lost my job. I lost my wife.
My reputation.
My kids don't talk to me anymore.
My fucking wife
I'm
left me.
impotent. My earning potential is down. You should have just let me jump off the cliff.
I can't bear children. I'm sterile. Oh, it's funny.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's just driving along with nothing to do. Like, I got it. Fuck the police. I got this.
Oh, it doesn't even look like that high of a cliff. Oh, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, man. He's like, I got cones in my trunk. I can do this.
I've got a toe strap.
Yeah, I got a toe strap and a
Got a-
winch. That's good stuff.
Oh man, what did we used to do at the end of episodes? And we used to have
We
other
had like
things.
the onion and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I thought about. There was a couple ideas I sent you for new
we should
new shit, but it's fine. It's fine. People like the show.
do
you
they
know.
though?
We could start to review different things, you know, if you want. People don't trust our
I will
opinion.
tell you that. Have you ever? Okay, something happened to me on Thursday that's never really happened before. As I've mentioned before, maybe it was the last episode.
Are you no longer a stranger in the ways of a woman?
No, what?
No,
no,
yes.
definitely still a stranger. I give myself the stranger. Anyway, Star Trek Picard.
Oh, here we go.
Star Trek Picard is on, and it was the 6th episode, and this episode shook a lot of people, man. It made a lot of
Was there gay stuff?
no,
Oh.
no.
That tends to be what shakes people the most lately.
I've stopped taking antidepressants again just because I forgot to go see the doctor again.
Spencer, listen, if you're
But
listening to
so-
the show, don't do that shit. It's bad for you.
But so I'm back to crying over like. So basically, I cried
can't-
through this whole episode,
Can't quit cold turkey.
and I didn't. I did.
right.
I weaned out. And
You
then-
weaned. All right.
And but anyway, so I was emotional the whole episode because
yeah.
there was so much nostalgia in this episode that I was shaking at the end. I was just like,
That might be another symptom.
it was so. I like was wound up. I couldn't work for like the next hour. I was just
Wait, you were watching it during
no.
During
Well, I
work?
watched it before work. I woke up early and watched it.
I bet.
Yeah, and I just was like, I was
that's
I
like-
was like shaking about it for hours, and I couldn't stop.
That's like your thing, right?
Like
you like the nostalgia
yeah, it was
things.
and
The callbacks, if you will.
I had to get on Facebook and just find people to talk to about it.
Oh man.
It
You need to
was-
keep a Star Trek journal.
It was
An STJ.
if you haven't seen episode 6 of Picard,
Or-
all one Star Trek people listen to this.
If you have and you want to talk with Spencer about it,
Yeah.
just go to the website and you can message us directly.
Seriously, at the end of it, I'm just sitting. I wish I had the camera on so you could see my face. I'm just
That's what you're gonna have to do next. Like that you seen that guy on TikTok that gets excited by trains? You need a GoPro just on your hat looking at your face.
Yeah.
Oh man.
oh, but yeah,
We watched The Last of Us this week.
the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I mean it was over a few days, you know. There's only 9 episodes.
Oh yeah,
But
did you like it?
yeah, I liked it. It was hard to relax. But it's not that kind of show.
I didn't like the last episode. I mean, it was good. Not like I didn't like it as in it was made poorly. I just didn't like the way it ended.
You don't like the story.
It kind of made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, you don't like the story. Yeah. Hey, yeah, it's good though.
yeah,
Well, there you go. There's your 2 reviews.
yeah.
Star Trek Episode 6 and
South
The
Park
Last
was
of
pretty
Us.
good this week too.
Yeah, we could start. I was gonna have we were gonna have Connor come on the show and do some music reviews because he's a buff. You know,
Like he's strong in music.
he is strong in music. Is that what that means when someone says like you're a music buff?
I don't know. I know that in a video game, when you get a buff, it makes you stronger, or when you say that guy's buff, it means they're big.
Well, I mean, yeah, in a video
Is buff
game.
for short for something like
Buffalogist?
buffamer, buffer?
Buffology?
I'm a buff boof. Maybe it's I don't know.
You're a boof?
I'm a boof.
That's enough, people. That's enough.
All right.
We're done.
All right.
Thanks for being here,
see you in
everybody.
another 2 months.
Thanks for being here. Find us at the Artake Pod, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Truth Social, where you can go just put a hashtag that's opposed to Trump, and it's really funny to watch what happens to the numbers. Anyway, theartakepodcast.com for episode 137. I'm Brian.
I'm Spencer. See you next time.